afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Multifamily Issuer Training, Pooling, Processing, and Systems Session 1. And I recognize some of the names, so some of this is going to be not new to you, so you're welcome back for a refresher, if that was your intent, and I hope everybody's having a good Monday. This is what our agenda looks like. We're going to go through a path of a pool, requisites up for pooling, generate website information and resources, and some questions. And we have a couple just some short demo of some of the system, just to get people, if you're new to the process, to understand how these systems work in terms of part of the pool processing space. Next slide, please. Yeah, again, I'm Wade Gale, BNY Mellon, been here for a while. I think I'm gonna run solo today because Toyid was not able to make it, so you're gonna hear most of me today. I hope you won't feel that all that bad, that you won't hear a different voice, but hey, some of you have dealt with me for some time, so what is 2 hours gonna do to you? Anyway, so let's move on to the next slide. We're going to talk about a path of a pool. So let's go to the next slide. Part of this session, we're going to go through pool submission, the processing, the issuance, and the delivery diagram. We're going to go to the multifamily module submission and final certification by the document custodian and process to delete our final certified pool. And we're going to go through a couple knowledge check here. Next slide. Okay, just this slide, we like to introduce this slide as part of the path of a pool so people get an understanding what happens at different stages. First of all, we have the pool requirement that the issuers, of course, have to enroll in GeniNet/JMEP via MGM. The reason why we still have GeniNet there, so you guys don't be freaked out, is because we still do draws and stuff type 5, type 3 in GeniNet, even if you still are using SFPDM, if you have old pools that you initially started in GeniNet. That's why I still kept GeniNet there. So most people, if you're a new issuer, you're using SFPDM. So, but I kept that there just for that reason. So you need to get enrolled in MGM, of course, to submit pools, and issuers must have available pool number, sufficient commitment authority, and approved master agreement. We're going to go through those a little bit later. In the second piece, we have MFPDM/GeniNet. Of course, the issuer submits their pool using MFPDM or GeniNet. Document custodian certifies, and the GeniNet network, we still call it a GeniNet network, so although GeniNet is going away, but it's still called a GeniNet network that we sweep at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. for all pools that have the status of certified. Once those pools have been swept, then they go into the pool issuance and delivery integrated pool management system. We call it that's basically GenMA system, IPMS. When those pools come into IPMS, the pools are reevaluated just to make sure anything that goes on in GeniNet space and MFPDM space, if there's any issues that something might have been not caught on that side, it still goes through another validation. And if there's an issue, it will catch it and it will push it out before the pool is issued. New issued file is created for QSIP, numbers to transfer to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The approved pools are done for approved for issuance. What that means, we do our check when the reports comes in, we do our check, make sure there's nothing, pool numbers belong to the issuers, make sure there's commitment authority available for that information. If there's not, well, of course, that goes through GenMA, and GenMA would have to reach out to the issuers on that. And once the pools are released, we call a release at 4 o'clock. all that information is stored on GenMA's central registry. So just give you an idea of what happens in the space. The issuer submits, custodian certifies, we download at 2 o'clock, run the GenMA edits again, and then it goes through certain things and information that goes to the Fed, all those CUSIP information goes to the Fed, and all the necessary information is stored on the GenMA central registry. Next slide, please. Okay, this is just to give you more detail in reference to what we just spoke about. Network is swept twice each business day for processing and issuance of pooled finals certified by the document custodian. We have the 2 p.m. sweep. Pools certified prior to 2 p.m. Eastern time will be considered one-day processing and may be delivered for settlement the next business day. We say may be considered because most of the time when these pools are processed, you have your specified ready date. If the pool comes in today at 2 and you have a ready date for tomorrow, the 11th, then it will be delivered. But if you have something for the 14th, the 18th, the 22nd, well, that's when, we're going to send off this information to the Fed, but the Fed will make the delivery on that specified date, the 22nd. So that's why we said we will consider one-day processing and may be delivered for settlement the next business day. Then we have the 9 p.m. sweep. That's going to be our sweep tonight. Any pool that has a status of certified after 2 p.m. and before 9 p.m. will be considered two-day processing and may be delivered for settlement in 2 business days, of course. And again, depends on what your delivery date is. Recalling pools after final certs, that means when the pool is certified by the custodian, you need to make sure you contact the GenMA customer support group at 1-833 GenMA and we can delete the pool between 2 and 4 p.m. for you if that's the case. But issuers still have the ability to delete your pool. Right now you can't because it's after 1 o'clock. But if you had a pool that you need to delete, we usually recommend you try and delete that pool before 12 noon Eastern time. That means 12 noon, that if that pool was certified by the custodian, you can go in and do a deletion yourself. Of course, in the GenNet space, we call that delete. In the MFPDM space, we call that recall, just to get that understanding. So you can delete after 12 noon, but before 4 p.m., you won't be able to do that deletion. So you will have to get in touch with us again and tell us that you want that pool to delete. Why we say 4 p.m. and we would recommend you not to do it at exactly 4 p.m. because you don't want to, because that's when we actually start doing our delivery to the Fed. So get us something, send us an email, but I also suggest you give us a call too. You just don't want to send an email and say, I need this pool deleted, and somehow the email got lost with other things that the group is doing. So send us an email. You have a favorite person there. You have a Sean, you have a Erica, you have a Pam. Get in touch with one of them and say, you like this pool deleted, because what we're going to do is say, send an email to us at this email address and make sure you put Janet Kerr on it too, so they are aware of it, and then so the pool can be deleted that way. So it's very important that you call us and then we request for you to send an email so we have that on record. You don't want to just assume that we're going to delete the pool just like that. And we recommend that you send it to us at a good time. So we do our sweep at 2 p.m. So anything right now out there that's marked certified by the custodian, we're gonna sweep that. And if you wanted anything deleted today, you would have done that by 12 noon on your own. But now if you still need something deleted, you still can give us a call, and we're gonna recommend that you send us an email so we can get that pool deleted, so that pool won't be a part of our 4 p.m. processing. And just heads up, if it's a draw, we want to make sure you are still aware that the table have to be refreshed. So we usually recommend you not to submit the draw today, but you submit the draw the next day as part of the delete. If it's a PN or a PL, no PL is issued for a while. If it's a PN or RX or LM on one of those pools, then you can proceed in doing the pool right away once it's deleted. But for the draws, we usually recommend that you do it the next day. Next slide, please. Okay, just some knowledge check. If I want to check the status of a pool, who can I call? I think if I press enter on that, I think something comes up. There we go. GenMay customer support at 833 GenMay help. And that's 833-466-2435. Okay, you can just press enter again. When can I recall a certified pool? Pool certified after 2 p.m. can be deleted up until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the next business day. So just want to keep that in mind. And next, that's some quick knowledge check. If I miss the window for recall, what can I do? And you get in touch with the GenMay customer support group at 1-833-466-2435. And again, everybody has their favorite. You call that person. Some people call Sean. Some people call Erica. Some people call Pam. Depends on who they're comfortable with in terms of that. Even if they have their direct number, they call them and get in touch with them that way. And then they'll ask them to send a email. So we have that all documented that you're requesting a delete of a pool. So that's a couple of knowledge check that we just, from some of the screens that we just went through. Next slide, please. Prerequisite for pooling. And again, this is not for the ones who are used to this. This we're talking to now the people who are maybe just joined the team in some of these on these issues in this issue shop. They're fairly new. They're getting into the flow of what is needed to actually process GenMay pools. So this is more for them. For the ones who are seasoned, they're like, oh, I know this already, Wade. So we'll just chill for the time being while you teach the newcomers. So let's go to the next slide. And of course, we're going to do the introduction to my GenMay. We're going to talk a little bit about master agreement, commitment management, request pool numbers, and we might do a couple more knowledge check just so people understand and get understanding of what we talked about earlier. Next slide. Okay, introduction to MGM, of course, my GenMay. Everybody should, this is the only way you can access GenMay system nowadays anyway. You know, my GenMay has been out there since, I want to say we start testing this in 2000 back then, and then 2008, 19, I think of that January, we start doing enrollment of users. So what is my GenMay, MGM? Of course, this is GenMay's single gateway to all the GenMay system, application, and resources that boosts efficiency for the business partner. The portal provides enhanced security and a single entry point to all approved application for individual users, as well as a seamless user registration and access request process for both the user and the approving authority. GenMay, my GenMay serves as a primary platform for extending information technology capability to GenMay's community. My GenMay delivers security features which GenMay established. So of course, to use my GenMay MGM, you have to be able to use one of these browsers, Fox Pro, Chrome, or Edge. And of course, everybody should know how to access my GenMay. It's the my.genmay.gov. So that's the browser there. So that's the house. That's where everything is housed. You have the big house, and then inside that house now, you have the different departments or the different rooms. So, you know, everything log into My Jenny, the big house, or the mansion, and then the mansion is divided in pieces. Of course, then once you go in, am I multifamily? Do I do investor reporting? Do I do another function for Jenny May? And then that's how it's divided. And then that's how you get your functional roles to do your job for that day or for the time you're at the back with the company. Next slide, please. Okay, some of the things to, of course, you have to request a soft token. Enroll it as users on MGM with functional roles that allows the upload of master agreement requests of commitment authority and pool numbers. So those are the things, some of the things that we enroll you as. You have the request commitment authority to guarantee your MBS issuance. And of course, if you don't have commitment, you can't issue those pools. And you also need to have sufficient commitment when you're issuing those pools. You have the GenNet / MFPDM access, and you have to obtain pool numbers. The portal is where you go to upload your master agreement. That's 11702 that identifies the authorized signer. And those are the people who go through the RSA token, software token process. So if you're not on 11702, you won't be able to get connected with a RSA token. So if that is something that you need to do in your shop, make sure you have that person who's going to get a token, who's going to be the person who submits either master agreements, either new pools, or even doing commitment authority. That person needs to be on the company 11702, and the person is going to go through the process of getting a RSA soft token. And just to have some reference here for the RSA quick reference card, and also how to get that form to send it in. I think the form is not, you don't actually need to send the form in because it's more in an automated fashion now to receive the RSA token. Next slide. Okay, we talk about MGM and we talk about roles. And that's so Jen may wanted the system to set up. Not everybody has the same authorization. Not everybody is at the same level. I don't want to, that mean level, but responsibility I should use. There's an organization administrator or privileged users who control the system access, assign functional role, and perform other user management activities. These individuals are responsible for ensuring that end users at their respective organization are provided the appropriate level of access for their business role with Jenny May and the maintenance of these user accounts. Formerly, if you're one of those seasoned users, you might know the word security officer. It's not security officer or enrollment administrator. Those were the terms we were using before. So those have now evolved, and you have organization admin. First of all, the operation administrator. Whenever you see that, it's us, BNY Mellon, because per Jenny May, we represent Jenny May to do certain functions in the system. So the ops admin have general oversight of the portal. They can only provide final acknowledgement of access requests and cannot make any changes to the end user's account. This function is provided by BNY Mellon Ops on behalf of Jenny May, with Jenny May Information Security serving as a super admin over the entire system. You see, Jenny May control people. We just work for them, but Jenny May is still a super admin just in case anything else. So it's their system, of course. Why shouldn't they not be the super admin? Then they have the org admin, the issuers and document custodian. The org admin have the privilege to invite end users to register for a portal account, approve user registration, initiate access requests via functional roles assignment to users, and approve the access requests within a single organization. So if your role is org admin, you're the ones who are gonna request access for your end users. You as an org admin request access from us, BNY Mellon. We give you those privilege roles. So that means certain roles you get different from a end user. So you can actually facilitate and request end user information and set them up. Note, very important for the users, separation of duties within the registration and access request workflow does not allow the organization admin to initiate a registration and approve that same registration, nor request access via functional role management and approve the same access request. A minimum of 3. When we started initially, it was 2. But GenMay cannot upgrade that. They need a minimum of 3, at least 3 org admins are required, and to reckon to have more than the minimum from an organizational perspective. That's up to you. If you want to make sure you have 10, that's fine. But GenMay want to make sure you have at least 3. If there's not 3 or there's no, we go through the system and there's showing that it's 2 for Wade Gale Mortgage, Wade Gale Mortgage is going to get some form of email saying that you're short in your admin. Please contact us because you need to have at least 3 organization admin to at all times, just to be on the safe side. You never know what can happen in these days. Somebody cannot make it in, some emergency, and you need someone to set up right away. So that's where you have that second backup or that third backup as part of your org admin when you set up when you're setting up your new users. So you just want to make sure you meet what GenMay is requiring. Then the end users. I always call the end users the worker bees. We're the ones that come in, we're the ones that log in, we're the ones that set up the pools, we're the ones that do the edits and send them off, get our documentation together. We have to, per GenMay, we have to do everything in MGM. So we have to get access to whatever our roles are. So end users are the various types of GenMay employee, business partners, and contractors who require access to the business application and information within the portal, including various self-service functions. So if you do you're just end user and you're just doing MFPDM, you need to have those functional roles so you can perform that function. If you do investor reporting, you need to have all those roles. If you're a jack of all trades, so they need to give you the roles accordingly. You know, there's some small shops out there, and you might also be an admin. You might also do the new pools. You might also have to dabble also in investor reporting. So you want to make sure you have the appropriate roles, appropriate functional role, so you can actually do your daily work or your monthly work according to whatever your responsibilities are. So these are just some of the upfront role there. We are the org admin. No, I'm lying. We are not. We are the operation administrator. You are the org admin and actually the end users. Next screen, please. And this is just some breakdown for if you're an org admin, you might be familiar with some of these. These are some of the roles you might have to give to some of your users. We have MF loan delivery and pooling basic user. We have a basic user and we have an authorized signer, and it's a difference. If you're just a basic user, that means you are not on the 11702. So most likely you're not going to do any submission. If you're an authorized signer, that means you're on the 11702. And just to talk to us as just friends, if you're an authorized signer and you don't have to get the basic user role, because those authorized signer role does incorporate the basic user. So just want to warn the org admins out there, when you're setting up these users, you don't need to give them the basic and org and the authorized signer. If they're authorized signer, they only get authorized signer roles. If they're only going to do basic user work, just give them the basic user. Because that's one of the reasons why GenMay kind of do this, to make sure you only get what you need to actually do your work. You don't need to get all the rows that are in My GenMA, just the ones that will make you do your function. Then you have the MF investor reporting basic user, and the same thing for the authorized signer. And they have the MF processing master agreement basic user and the processing master agreement authorized signer. These are just some of the examples that we have here for you. So org admin, if you have basic users, you don't need to give them the authorized signer. Org admin, if you have authorized signer, you don't need to give them the pool-in basic user role, because you're just cluttering up their system. Just give them the authorized signer roles alone, and that's good enough because it will incorporate whatever the basic user functionalities were or are. Next slide, please. Okay, everybody's familiar with this screen, the MGM portal login screen. This screen has evolved over a period of time. Every time it looks different because you know what? GenMA is always improving. They're always introducing new things to you. And most people are familiar with this now. The GenMA Central, which went live it was on the 13th of May. I think so, if my memory serves me right. So we just capture that screen there as part of the screen. So next slide. And of course, you're familiar with this. You have to log in with a user ID, a password. Your user ID is always your email address. That's one of the way of making it simple for you. That's one way of making it easier. You're just going to one place to log in, and then you can branch off to what you want. Easier. Back in the day, in legacy, we had password for this. We had password to get into GenNet. We might have password to get into another system, might have password to get into here. So it's just like, wow, I have to remember all these passwords. But now to get into GenMA system, the MGM space, you just need to know your user ID, which is always your email address. So once you do that, set that up, your email address is booked, log under you log in that way with your user ID. And your password that you created according to you follow the instructions, what GenMA says that needs to be. Next slide. Okay, and this is just some information on the dashboard. If you're familiar, you should be familiar with this if you're using the MFPDM application. My dashboard screen. My dashboard is a landing page that has been tailored for different user type to provide easier access to key information and application. So when you log into this system, you're gonna have log on a dashboard, and it's going to be catered to what you're currently doing. If you're doing MFPDM, that's what you'll see, and some information about MFPDM at the bottom of that screen also. Next slide. Okay. We talk about the prerequisite of pooling and what is needed to start the process. Of course, you have to go through the process for GenMA, getting approved and whatever that entails to get approved. Once you get approved and you're good to go, you might get something from one of the GenMA account executive to get in touch with BNY Mellon's and so they can tell you what you need to get on board. We're going to tell you that you need to fill out these admin forms. If you're on 11702, make sure you have that on file. So this is all we have to start to get you onboarded. Now, to get access to master agreement. Master agreement is one of those systems that you're going to need to set up all your documentation as part of pooling that GenMA says you need as part of the process. And they're in the master agreement now. So again, I'm aging myself. And I'm going to use like really sound old. Back in the day when we used to do this, It used to be manual. People used to actually send in these forms and they have to sign all of them with the wet signature. So they've actually kind of changed it a little bit. So this is just to tell you what happens in the years when you talk about MAMS. MAMS is always the Master Agreement Management System. So that's what MAMS mean. So this screen just tells you how to get into MAMS. From any screen in the MGM portal, select the tool drop down to the bottom of the screen. Then look for MAMS on the application. So on the application IPMS. So that's what you'll see on the IPMS, and you choose MAMS. Let's click on the next slide, please. Shows you what it looks like in the application itself. Number 3, select master agreement. So you see you have the master agreement section there where it says commitment management requests, pool number, master agreement. So once you click on master agreement, you go through the process of start setting up your master agreement. Let's click on the next slide. Okay, just some information before we go into that. Ginnie Mae issuers must complete an initial master agreement submission to be eligible to issue Ginnie Mae pools. Issuers are required to submit a complete set of master agreement, which consists of the forms listed in the table below. You have the Form HUD 11702. That's the one that people talk about all the time. Of course, the resolution of board of directors and certified of authorized signer. So if you're an authorized signer for your company, you're going to be on that Form 11702. If you're going to need an RSA token, you need to be on that Form 11702. You have the 11707, the Master Subservicing Agreement. Then you have the HUD 11709, that's the Master Agreement for Services P&I Custodial Account. You have the HUD 11709A, that's ACH debit authorization. And I was just going to say that does not require renewal, but it's one of the forms that you're going to need as a process. Then I have the HUD 11715, Master Custodial Agreement, who you have make your arrangement with for your doc custodian. And then you have Master Agreement for Services Escrow Custodial Account 11720. So those are the master agreement that you need to fill out and send into us. Some of those forms are actually looked at by us and approved. 11702 is done by us. 11707, of course, if you have a subservicer, that's going to your subservicer, and then after that, it goes to Ginnie Mae for approval. 11709, 11720 is going to go one, it's going to go to your subservicer too. If you have a subservicer on there, they're going to sign it, send it in to us. And then the 11715, that's your custodian. That document actually is sent to your custodian and they sign off on it to make sure that it's complete. So all these forms have to be completed before you can actually start doing your new pools. Next slide, please. When and how to update master agreements. Always come up, we're now in June, July, August, September, October. 4 more months to go. On an annual basis, issuers must maintain their eligibility by completing the MAMS renewal process. Renewals are due by December 31st. I think I sound like a broken record whenever I say this. The annual renewal period runs from October 1st through December 31st. Let's stop here a little bit. I know we have that. I hope you guys are not seeing those notices. I did not know to get rid of that notice when we had to switch over to Zoom. So I'm using my work laptop. So I really apologize for that instead of my training laptop. Okay, renewals, October 1st through December 31st. And I think for years now I've been saying, don't start doing this on December 29th. Every year we run into the same issue. someone is trying to complete their master agreements on December 28th, 27th, the day after Christmas. And guess what? Most of the authorized signers are not there. They're either on their Christmas vacation with their family, or they decide to take a long vacation so they come back on January 3rd. And if they do come back on January 3rd, what's going to happen? December 31st, deadline would have passed. And come January, if you did not do your master agreements, you're not going to be able to do your new pools in January because you don't have a complete master agreements on file. So it's very, very important to October 1st. You know what? I will just be sitting and waiting for October 1st. And the minute it comes around, if you're making changes, of course, you're sending your new changes for your accounts. But if you're telling Jenny May that I am renewing for 2025 and nothing has changed, you go ahead and do that right away once it comes available. That means you're going to be using the same accounts, the same custodian, nothing has changed for the coming year. So, hey, do it as early as possible so you're not caught up in that rat race the last 2 weeks of December. And I'm saying this because from experience, it happens, and I'm sure some of the multifamily account executives can actually relate to this, where someone is always rushing to get this done because their CEO, who is the account executive, decide to go to Paris for the week, for the Christmas holiday, and not come back. So they're not going to be able to do their master agreements. It's important to start the renewal process as early as possible to reduce the chance for delays at year end. If an issuer does not complete their renewals within the renewal period, they will not be eligible to issue genuine pools and will have to repeat the initial master agreement submission process. That's the killer right there. Kids, can you imagine if you wanted to do a renewal? You're going to be using the same accounts for 2025, but it was not completed by December 31st. You know what happens? Ginnie Mae does not allow you to do the renewal on January 3rd. So you will have to go in and do all these documents put them in the initial stage again and go through the process. If you're doing a renewal and you said, hey, Jenny Mae, all these accounts that I have on file, I'll be using in 2025, that's a breeze. But if you have to do this all over again because you miss the deadline. So try and keep up with this October 1st through December 31st. That's for your master agreement renewals. You don't want to miss this, so you have to end up doing this over. And you might have some early pools to process in January, and because of this, those could be delays. You know, everything might be a trigger or because of delays, it could affect who you are selling these pools to. So that could result in you have to give penalty because it didn't meet your deadline. So there could be a lot of things there. So just try and meet the deadline at October 1st through December 31st. If you're not the one, make sure you tell the people who do this on a regular basis that it starts October 1st and it ends the 31st. Let's try and get this done as soon as possible. Next slide. Okay. Now this is just showing you how to access commitment management via MGM. It's basically the same way. You log into the main screen, then you go to the section of tools. Then on the tools, you're going to choose CM. On the IPMS, you're going to choose CM. And then it takes you to another screen. Next slide. And this is just, it tells you what it looks like when you select commitment management. And this is where you'll start all your entries. Next slide. And this will just tell you what happens in that space. An issuer must comply with Ginnie Mae eligibility requirement and have sufficient commitment authority available to issue Ginnie Mae pools Generate securities. Commitment authority allows an issuer to issue up to an authorized dollar amount of security and constitute a commitment line balance. So the other section just tells you what the system does. It submits a request. You can confirm the fee. It proactively monitor the commitment authority balance and request status. You can submit payment instructions for ACH debit. And of course, you can print the request report. That's all part of the process. If, again, I know the form is, I think it was 11,700 or something like that. They usually do this in a manual form. Now it's much easier. The good thing, it's easier, but the thing is, people have to check this. Make sure you have enough commitment to issue your generate pools. Next slide. And this is just, again, just going to give you more information on the guide itself. If you are one of those people who don't want to go through everything, we kind of give you some of the pages you can go to in the guide so you can actually do your processing. So this is what it gives you here with the user manual itself. So if that's, and also we talk about the quick reference card. A lot of people like that because it just tells you do A, B, C, and D, bam, and I'm done. So we also feature that as part of the process too. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have gone through the commitment authority. We have gone through master agreements. The next one you want to make sure you have on file is RPN, which is request pool numbers. And it's a basic thing. If you, or this is going to be part of your function, you're going to go to tools, and on the tools, you're going to have it, you're going to see it on the IPMS, and it says RPN. Of course, if you're in the GenMate space for a while, you know there's a lot of acronym. That's all that kills me if you're a new person coming on board to know all these things. But there's a whole lot of acronym for you to get used to. So anytime you say RPN, you know we're talking about request pool number. Next slide. And of course, this again just tells you when you click on request pool number, where you land and how you go in and start the process of requesting your pool numbers. We have some very short vignettes to just go through this. If you're seeing this for the first time, we'll play those as when we get to that part of the process. Next screen. Okay, just some info. Basically, we set this up like how we did the CM. Just tells you what you can see on the pages in the user manual. And request pool number is an application that GenMate issuers use to request pool numbers. In the RPN application, issuers can perform the following: enter a request for pool numbers, view available pool numbers, submit override, view status report, request and download report, and receive real-time approval of request. Of course, there's a certain amount of pools you can request, but if you go over a certain thing, there's have to be some exception that you might need the AE to come in and say override, and so you can process those. And again, we have the guide. Use the guide if you need that. Next slide. And this is just a screen that tells you what the system provides. Again, it's basically some of the same thing on the other side, but we're talking about the guide itself here. So RPN summary page, request pool number, download, view status, and run report. If maybe you don't, we're telling you these are available there. Maybe these are not things you will need because you're so much of an expert in the process. So you know how to go and request your pool numbers. You know to do your due diligence of checking the pool numbers and keep up to that thing. But we just want to say, if you're new and you want to know the process, you have all the ability to go into the system and know a little bit more, dig a little bit further to to understand the full process. Next slide. And I think when I was working with Sean, he decided that he wanted to put this is the actual QRC. So that's what it actually looks like to make it a little bit easier for you. If this is what you like to, instead of reading the entire user manual, so you go through this and do it this way instead of going through the step-by-step in the user manual. So this is what you'll see on the as part of the request pool number QRC. Next slide, please. Okay. Prerequisite submission issue requirement. Some of these things we went through again, just want to do a checklist before we move on. Pooling requisite. Ensure there are assigned pool numbers. Check your available pool numbers on request pool numbers. That's very important because the way the system is set up, if you set up, put in the wrong pool number, it's gonna get caught on the back end, and we have to get in touch with you, saying you have sufficient, the pool number does not belong to you, and you'll have to send that pool over again. The same thing, when you're doing your commitment authority, check your daily balances. So you have, if you're doing a pool for 10 million, if your balance say you have 9, then there's a problem. You can't do that pool right now until you request more commitment authority. So those are things that you have to do your thing, because if you do that pool, most likely it's might go through MFPDM, but guess what? When we're doing our due diligence on the back end, when that information comes in, it's gonna kick it out and say, hey, insufficient commitment authority. Then what's gonna happen? You're gonna have Jennifer, Patrick, Michelle, maybe giving you a call, sending an email that you had to issue this pool didn't make it because not enough commitment. So you don't want to, not that you don't want to hear from them, but you want to avoid this because you need to make sure you check your balances. And of course, your master agreement is complete. You have to have a complete status for you to actually set up to start setting up your pool. So those are just 30 checks you want to make sure you have in place for prerequisite. Have all these things up front before you start gathering the loan information, gathering the type of loan you're going to do. Is it a PN? Is it going to be a RX? Whatever pool type, but you make sure you have your pool numbers, your commitment, and your master agreement ready to go. Especially if you're a new issuer just coming into the business for the first time, and you just want to make sure you have all your stuff in line so you don't make any mistake for your first pool. That's why we're just giving you this information, and hopefully it will be of help to you. Next slide, please. I did tell you, I think this is how we go in through Ryan, so you can have those stuff queued up for me, those quick vignettes of how to do master agreements. Just to let you know, you might see the recording might be a little bit dated. The reason why I did not go ahead and do these things over again, because we're currently testing in the UAT environment, and we're going through some different changes in terms of screens might look a little bit different. So I didn't want to introduce this to the team and just confuse everybody. So I kind of kept it with one of the recordings that we had before. So just bear with me if I've seen this before. So let's try and do, if we have the master agreements queue up, can we do that one first?
To access master's agreement forms, you will first log into my Jenny May, and once you land on my dashboard, you will navigate over to the Tools dropdown on the top right of the page, and under IPMS, you will see a link for MAMS, short for Master's Agreement Management System. Once you find MAMS, you will go ahead and click on the link, and that will take you to the summary page of Master's Agreement. Once you land on Master's Agreement page, you have the ability to search forms based on the roles, the form numbers, the status of those forms, as well as the certification year. Below that, you have the ability to create HUD forms, and you have the ability to create 11702, 11707, 11709, 11709A, 11715, and 11720. Below that, you will see a list of previously requested or submitted forms and their statuses, and it'll list out for all the certification years as well as the different forms. For today's demonstration purposes, we'll create the 11702 form, and by selecting the HUD 11702, we'll click on Go, and that'll take us to our 11702 form. First, you have the issuer's numbers and name auto-populated. Next, you have the board meeting place. So go ahead and enter the address of your board meeting place. Then enter the city, state, and zip code. Select your state and your zip code. Below that, you'll enter the board meeting date. Once you do that, below we have the certifying officer's detail. You'll go ahead and enter your secretary's name, your certifying officer's name, and your certifying officer's title. Below that, you have your institutional details. So go ahead and enter your address with your city, state, and zip code. Once you entered the data, you will then select your date. Below is the authorized signers section. Now here are a few things to note. First, you have the option to replace an existing authorized signer. What does this mean? If you already have authorized signers that's in the system and has been approved, you have the ability to delete them by selecting yes on for replacing existing authorized signer, and those approved authorized signers will be replaced with whatever you enter on this form below. And if you select no and you enter new authorized signers below, those will be added on with your existing authorized signer. So for today's purpose, we'll select no. And then underneath, we have two options. You can either enter the authorized signer manually by entering their first, middle, and last name with their title. Or you have the ability to download a CSV form and uploading the authorized signer's name by entering their first, middle, and last name with the title and importing that file. Today we'll enter the authorized signer manually. So we'll go ahead and put their first and last name with their title. Also note, if you have more than 3 authorized signer you need to enter into the system manually, you can add additional rows by clicking on plus add row. Once you have entered your authorized signer's information, you will then click on view as HUD PDF form. This will generate a PDF form with your authorized signer's name. So let's go ahead and click view as HUD PDF. Here you'll see the authorized signer's name. You will then scroll to the bottom, review your data, sign the form. And once you sign this form, you will then have to upload it back into this application. So let's go back to the form. Here you have the section where you can choose the file. and then go ahead and select the signed form, click open, and then upload document. All right, so the form has now uploaded. You can then save the form as draft if you need to come back to it to do or add additional authorized signer or modify any data, or you have the ability to save and submit the form to the submission center. So today we'll go ahead and click on save for submission. And you can see you get a successful confirmation that the form has been saved for submission. So we'll next navigate over to Submission Center. And now you can see the form that we just created and submitted is now sitting on the Submission Center. So for us to do the submission, we'll first check the form. And below you see there's a submit button. We'll go ahead and click on submit. You'll get your legal pop-up information. You will review, and if you accept, you'll check the box and click on submit form. Once you do that, you will then enter your RSA Secure ID passcode and click OK to submit the form. Once you enter, you click OK. And you can see we have a confirmation pop-up page that says that the form was successfully submitted. Go ahead and click close, and the form should disappear from Submission Center. How to request commitment. After you log into My Jenny May, you'll land on my dashboard. Once you land on your dashboard, you will then navigate to Tools dropdown. Click on the Tools dropdown. Under IPMS, you will see there's a CM link, short for Commitment Management. You'll then go ahead and click on it. Once you do, it'll take you to the Commitment Management Summary page. Here you have the ability to filter based on different statuses of your request. We have approved, canceled, Jenny May declined, not available, pending, or rejected. And once you click display, system will filter based on your request. Below that, we have the issuer number, as well as any previously requested commitment amount and their statuses. For today's demo, we will request a commitment amount by either clicking on the request commitment link next to the summary or by clicking on request commitment button below. But to do that, we'll first click on the checkbox next to the issuer number. And now you see the request commitment button is blue, so you can go ahead and click on this button right now. Once you do, it'll take you to the page where you will enter your commitment amount. But before that, you could see the system already populated your issuer number and your issuer name. You will then have to select your program type. Next, we'll enter the commitment amount that you will be requesting. Just note, minimum is 1.5 million. Once you enter your commitment requested amount, system will generate a commitment fee. So here you could see your commitment fee is $700 based on your $2 million request. You will then enter your payment information by entering the ACH routing number. Then you'll enter your account number and re-enter the account number. Once you do that, you will go ahead and review the terms and conditions. And once you agree, you will check off the box and accept. And next, you will submit your request by clicking on the Submit Request button. Once you do, you'll get a confirmation pop-up with your requested amount and the fee for that amount. If you agree, you will then go ahead and click OK. Once you do that, you will then enter your RSA Secure ID passcode. And go ahead and click OK. Now that the submission was successful, you will get a summary page where the system will state that your request for the commitment in the amount of $2 million has been successfully submitted to Jenny May for approval. And what we'll do next is go back to the summary page, and we will see that the requested amount that we have just entered into the system is listed below. And here you have the ability to cancel the pending request. How to request pool number. Once you log into My Jenny May and you land on your dashboard, you will navigate over to the Tools dropdown on the top right of the screen. Once you click on Tools dropdown, you will see under IPMS, we have RPN, short for Request Pool Number. You'll go ahead and click on this link, and it'll navigate you to the RPN application. Now that we're on the summary page for the request pool number page, here you have the ability to filter based on the date as well as the statuses. You could either do all, pending, rejected, or approved. Below, we have your issuer number, and we're able to expand and view any previously requested pool numbers below. Here, those that are approved, you also have the ability to generate a Excel sheet, which will give you the list of the approved pool numbers. So we'll go ahead and click on the Excel sheet link, generate the report, and go ahead and open it. And you could see your pool ID with all the available pool numbers. Next, to request a pool number, or if you want to request any additional pool number, you have the request pool number link next to the summary. And you have the ability to click on request pool numbers button below. So you'll go ahead and check the radio button and click on request pool number. Here, depending on the amount of pool numbers you have for your organization, you might need to get your account executive override and their approval. If that is the case, you will first enter your pool numbers and enter your justification. Once you have entered your justification, you will go ahead and click Request AE Override. Once you click Request Override, it'll take you to the summary page where it'll state your request is in progress. And if you need any clarifications or questions you might have, you can contact your account executive for further instructions. We'll then click on back to summary page, and when you enter or expand below, you will now see that the new requested pool number, the amount, the date it was requested, and the request status.
Oh, the first one was pool numbers must be requested after the pool is submitted. Is that true or false? Pool number must be requested after the pool is submitted. Is that true or false? Of course, if we had a poll, I'm sure people were putting in true, people putting in false. It will be changing as we go along. It will have 90% false, 10% true, and then after that, people realize and say, "Oh, pool numbers must be requested after the pool is submitted." That is false. So the answer would have been false for that one. So people would have gotten it. Number two. where do you go to submit your master agreement? MFPDM, My Jenny May portal, JennyNet? What's the answer? That one is so simple. It's of course it has to be number 2. My Jenny portal, because that's where you're gonna log in to do all your processing anyway. MFPDM is the application that you go in and do your new pool processing. And of course, JennyNet is the legacy system that if you still have pools in there because they had initially started there trying to finish out the draws, that's where you'll do again for new pools. So the answer there is My Genway portal. An RSA token is required to submit your request for commitment authority. If you notice that we did 3 of them, we did MAMS, we did RPN, and we did commitment. So did anyone remember during the demo if an RSA token was needed for commitment authority? So we have a true or false answer there. I remember seeing it for master agreement. I don't remember. I'm just doing it like what you guys will do to come up with an answer. I don't remember seeing it for RPN. And that guy was doing the recording, did mention RSA token when he was doing commitment. So the answer is true. You do need an RSA token when you're doing your commitment. And the last one, master agreement renewal starts on, oh, this one I killed this one when I was talking about it. I overdid it. On October 1st, after Thanksgiving, December 1st, renewal is not necessary for master agreements. We don't even want to touch number 4 because that is so wrong. Some people, if you think that you don't do your renewals, you're going to be caught up in the start of the new year, have to do the initials again. So that's not it. The answer is actually it starts October 1st. So let's get on board for that to doing your renewals starting October 1st, or get the information to the appropriate person. Might not be you, might be a different area that handles that, but make sure they're aware that it starts October 1st. And I think that was those were the poll questions. Thank you, Ryan. I hope I did a good job there. Slide, please. Just next slide. Jenny May website information. The reason why we brought this up, because a lot of times we usually get people calling us and say, when was the last time I can submit my pool? When is the last time I can do this? There's actually a calendar out there on Jenny May website that gives you that information. We update it. It's updated on a daily, not a daily basis, but on a monthly basis. There's a new calendar. And if you go where it says under Issuer Tools, and come down 2 spots where it says pool date calendar. That's where you'll click on when you go on GenMay website, of course, genmay.gov, and you go into the issuer space, it's going to say Issuer Tools, and it's going to be pool date calendar. And that's where you'll go in and bring up the calendar. Let's see if we can bring up that calendar. I hope sometime it doesn't project well on screen. Let's see what happens here. And this one didn't. Can we make it any bigger? Is that possible? I don't know. But this is just an example of what the calendar look like. You really can't see what's on there, but go in there and see it has your dates for your investor reporting, has your dates when you have to do all the necessary things. So Jenny May as part of have your cutoff dates for the different pools. If by any chance you're doing a manual pool because of circumstances, it tells you when you need to get that done too. If you're doing type 3 or type 5, all that information is on there. So use the calendar to your benefit. Share the calendar. Tell your investor reporting people, there's a calendar out there that tells you when you can submit your RPBs, when is the last day for your RPBs to submit. I know I'm going on another tangent on the investor reporting side, but you want to make sure you use the calendar to your advantage. This is a poor screen. I can't even see it on this. When I can tell you when Sean was working on this last week, he was trying to make it as best as possible for us to view it on the screen. But it's on it's on genmay.gov on the issuer, and you want to choose pool date calendar, and it gives you the date for the complete year. And if you want to go to the next month, or well, you have an idea, so you can start your planning that way. Next slide, please. Resources and questions. Next slide. And what we did here, we just have a couple of them. We have, of course, let's just whisper this. The biggest resource out there is, of course, is the GenMay MBS guide. I call that my Bible here at work. When I'm not clear on something, when someone calls and asks me something, and I'm not too sure, or maybe I've forgotten the answer because Wade has been here for so long and sometimes forget these things, I usually go back to my source and go into the guide and see if I can find it there. If I can find it there, of course, the AEs know that I'm going to come to them next. But you want to use that MBS guide for as your main reference, so you can know GenMay policies when you're doing a pool, what's needed, what documentation needs to be sent to the custodian so the process can happen. Although it's electronic, maybe there's certain things that needs to go to them. Make sure you know what information you need to gather to do a different pool type. If it's a PN or you're doing a RX, a LM, you know what that constitute. So you want to use the GenMay MBS guide as your source. And of course, we have the MFPDM user manual. Of course, the user manual is the application user manual, just to get familiar with it. What happens here? How do you navigate from one screen to the next screen? How do you do your data entry? Most users in the MFPDM space actually do data entry because you want to enter mostly one loan. But if you're in the single family, you might not do manual data entry. You might actually build a import file. But just to let you know, you can actually do import too. We have an import file that you can actually import the information into MFPDM if that suits your environment, or the way you're doing it now is by doing the manual entry if that works for you. But just know the tricks and the trade. How can I do this? If you need to do filtering, use the user manual to do that. Maybe some of these things might not come out in one of these demonstration training, but you have the manual to help you on that. Of course, you have the resource. If the manual doesn't work, don't hesitate to call Sean Wilson. I'm only joking. We don't want Sean Wilson to get all calls. Call the customer service hotlines and see if they can help you navigate the system itself. And of course, if you're not big on reading all that stuff in the user manual, there are some items in the MFPDM QRC that are targeted. So that might help you. Maybe something with navigation we showed you. We have master agreements, we have commitment authority, we have pool numbers, we have how to maneuver the system. We have something on the different types, the type 5 or type 3, how to do those. So you utilize that information to help you with your daily process. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes especially if you're a new person, you're gonna know, you have to know a new system, new terms, how to maneuver the system to get this information into it, how to get it over to the custodian, what the custodian needs, what happens after the pool is submitted. Do I need to do anything? So there's a lot of things. So if these resources can help you to make your life a little bit easier, I would utilize them, because I know there's some help in them to get you over that hump for the day.